Alright, today we're going to take a look at Oak Haven UMC, which you can find at oakhavenumc.org. When you go to the site, the first thing you'll notice is that the address quickly redirects over to Blogspot. While having a site on Blogspot certainly isn't ideal, I do appreciate the way they've handled it. You'll find some sites that oakhavenumc.org, and you click it, it's obvious it pulls up Blogspot, but it stays as .org, but that address never changes. You can't see the address change on subpages, which means you can't link directly to a specific page. Them doing it this way, again, while it is a little uglier perhaps with Blogspot, at least that way, if I pull up the Sunday service page, I get a specific link to that page, which I can send to a friend or do whatever I want, and it also makes it easier for Google to index all the separate pages and keep all that straight with them. So with that in mind, I can appreciate it. I think they should look at moving to a proper hosted site at oakhavenumc.org, but I can understand costs and time to switch and all that. Something certainly to plan for in the future, but it's okay for now. Looking at the site itself, obviously we can't get rid of this blogger bar. That'd be one good reason to move off of it, but that's okay. But the next little bar is kind of interesting. I see a lot of churches do this with Upper Room and UMC and their conference and stuff. That's all great if you're like staff at the church. The average churchgoer, I'm sorry to say, really doesn't care what conference you are, doesn't want to go browse around umc.org, and most people don't even really care for the Upper Room devotional if they're not looking for it. I mean, people certainly can appreciate it, but first thing on your page seems kind of odd. I would maybe tuck those under a links page or something rather than having them be the top of every single page. That's up to you. The next thing, I certainly appreciate this image. The images are a little skewed and fuzzy perhaps, but I see so many churches that put a big picture of their brick building right here, which is just so boring and ugly. Church is about the people that are in it, and you guys are showing that here. That's a pretty solid start. Going down the page, we have this Chosen series, which just began this week, it looks like, so that's pretty appropriate to have there. Looks like it was just like a poster, perhaps, that you just grabbed a picture of and put up here. So you have your address and stuff here, and then links to Facebook and Twitter that aren't actually links. They're just kind of icons. Just kind of bizarre to have those on the site. And it looks like I can click through, so I would expect, cool, I can click through and learn more about the series or maybe information about what time the service is, that kind of stuff. But if I click through, I just get a bigger version of it. So that seems kind of silly to me. Back to school celebration, seems pretty legitimate. And then the Busy Bee, again, it's outdated, but I recognize that this is a blog, so that's fine. What's interesting, though, is it doesn't say much of anything about it. If I happen to be into quilting, I still have no idea what is the Busy Bee, who can come to it, where is it. I assume it'd be at the church, but maybe it's at Betsy's house or something. Who knows? So you certainly want more info there. Going down the side, we have a big Facebook icon, which is great. We've got a very serious problem with it. If we pull up the Facebook account, it actually lands on this page. You've created this account as a profile, as if it's a person. Your first name is Oak. Send Oak a message. Oak only shares some of their information. It thinks your name is Oak, middle name Haven, last name UMC. Facebook does not like that. It's against their terms of service, and when they see it, they're going to delete it, no questions asked. You're going to lose your 56 friends. They have groups and pages available for churches and organizations to use, and I highly recommend you switch to that as soon as possible. Specifically, I would advise you start a page, as that's what most long-term businesses and stuff would use pages, and groups are more often used for large events. But one way or another, you need to get this changed. The advantage to doing it now is that you can use these 56 connections you have and tell them as this person named Oak about your new page. You can post something on the wall. Go visit our page instead, and please like it. Become a fan. Whereas as soon as Facebook decides to trash this, it's gone. You lose those 56 connections, and you're starting over. So you need to get that fixed as soon as you can. And I also saw on the side, you have it more buried, but follow me on Twitter, which I guess ideally if you could change that to follow us. You're using some kind of widget, I guess, but and I know that kind of stuff can be tough to tweak. But you have your, Oak Haven is a great username on Twitter. You've been posting some good stuff, but the problem is you haven't posted since July. So you need to get that rolling. It's not hard to set up tools to automatically post your blog entries out there, which is what these are. So at least you have something. It's not ideal to sit there and just spit out blog entries to it, but it beats nothing and gets it going. And I would certainly encourage you to retweet useful items. I don't see any replies in here, but if people talk about Oak Haven on Twitter, you should reply back. You either address their concerns or more often, celebrate with them that it was, great worship in the morning or whatever the case is. You certainly ought to be using that a little more, especially with 122 followers. That's pretty solid. Going back to the site, your useful information on the side certainly is pretty useful. Contact, we need to tweak a little bit. You've got a pretty solid page. You got Reverend here, physical mailing address, phone, fax. Not many people use fax, but it's still good to include there. But no email. That's kind of striking to me. I'm not going to call you. If I have a question about the church, personally, I'm not going to pick up the phone and call. You certainly need the phone number for people. I want to email you, though. I can't. I'll move on. There's plenty of other churches in the area. I would also, throwing an email address up there is pretty easy. I would also suggest, your Facebook and Twitter links here, just because a lot of people consider those their primary source of contacting folks. So make it as easy as possible for people to contact you with questions and concerns, and hopefully they'll come visit you on Sunday once those are ironed out. Driving directions page is pretty cool. I always advise you to have text directions on there too. If you're coming off 183, exit here, left here. But this certainly beats nothing. You've got the good address here people can grab and put their GPS, and then you've got the nice embedded Google Maps, so I can just hit directions and have it generate a list of turn-by-turn directions for me and print it out. So that's pretty cool. I'm not going to complain about that too much. You've got a few other things down here. We're not going to get into all of them. A few other notes at the top. You got good tabs here with good content. One minor bug, when I click on one of these, I would expect that solid blue to become on the welcome note now instead, because it's the current page. Being on Blogspot, I don't know how much control you have over that, but that just kind of bugs me a little bit. But when you actually get into the page, it's not really a big deal. You've got some pretty good content here, all about Oak Haven, talking about where they came from. Again, click here to visit the United Methodist Church website. I think that's very appropriate here, because if people are wanting to read about your church, you explain your Methodist, and give them a link to that. That's great there. And then some more info going through. And of course, your Sunday service. It's very important to have information on that. Here we go. You talk about the time, talk about what it is, how the service goes. Excellent little description there. Maybe get a little bold or something just to break up the text a bit, but really you've got it broken into good paragraphs, and it's not too bad. Same with Sunday school, pretty solid page. You talk a little bit about junior high and senior high students, but that's all I see about them. Do they not meet Sunday evenings? Do they do retreats or any of that kind of stuff? I don't know how big your church is and whether that stuff happens. If it does, though, I would certainly expect they'd have their own page. Not only youth, but children and some of those. And I see nothing. So with that in mind, you say, you've got this stuff, but if I had a junior, senior high kid, I'm not sure I'd want to come to the church if that's all you have is Sunday school. I'd go to another church that they'd go on retreats and do, Sunday evening activities and that kind of stuff. So all in all, you're looking pretty good. I would hustle and change that Facebook profile to a page. That's going to take a little time, and it's going to take more time to get everyone switched over, but you need to do that pretty quick. One other minor thing. Your page titles, like up here in the bar on Internet Explorer, it's in the blue bar all the way across. They never change. And this could be, if you hover, you can see, welcome to Oak Haven UMC. Maybe a thing with Blogger that you're not able to change. I don't know for sure. The problem is, like if I go to, where was I? Sunday school, and I'll look at the source just to be able to see the full title. Wow, you got a mess of stuff in here. Here it is. Title, Welcome to Oak Haven UMC, Irving, Texas. That's a good solid one for the home page, but it's the same on every internal page, and those really should be different on every page. Like, we're on the Sunday school here, so I would expect it to say something like Oak Haven UMC, Irving, Texas, -- Sunday school. And then other ones, Oak Haven UMC, Irving, Texas, -- Sunday services, or welcome, or all that kind of stuff. If there's any way to change those to make them unique on each page, that would be ideal. The same with this, too. Again, I don't know if it's possible with Blogger, but really that should change to say Sunday service, especially because these don't brighten up. You've got it down here, but, the whole top of the page, we've got nothing. So it's a fairly minor quibble. All in all, it's a pretty solid site. Short term, get that Facebook changed, get Twitter rolling a little more, and long term, look at moving to everything onto oakhavenumc.org. You could always use WordPress and just install it on your server there. Someone with some technical knowledge should be able to do that in a matter of a couple hours, I would think, at most. Find a good free template out there, an inexpensive one. You can get some great themes for $50 or so, and they give you a pretty good start. It will allow you to keep it all in your own domain, so you have that going forward. So there you have it. If you have any other questions, let us know. Thanks.